Hello and welcome to what's new in Microsoft 365 and Teams for March 2023. We have updates for OneDrive, Outlook, SharePoint, Stream, Teams, Whiteboard, and a few from around 365. As you can see, I'm having some video trouble, but I'm due on an airplane in a few hours, so I don't really have time to sort it out. So let us get on. But first of all, I want to tell you that there are so many more updates on the blog, so go down to the notes for the video, hop over to the blog and have a read. Lots of updates up there that I'm not going to cover in this video to keep it fairly timely. Let's start with OneDrive. So, some small look and feel changes. Now, this is so subtle. Now, you can see above and below, this below here we've got like a bit of a border around the files area. On the top version, the original version, we don't. What else we got? This one is, oops, clicked a bit too far. So this one is less subtle. We can see on the left hand side here that it's a lot darker, but over on the right hand side, the one it's going to is just a little darker. The command bar, we can see that the icons are a different color on the new one, so they're going from coloured to black, and super subtle changes. They're designed to increase usability and accessibility. Yeah, they are very subtle. These are due early to mid-April this year. Okay, so moving on fairly quickly to Outlook. So Outlook's Bookings with Me availability. So this Bookings with Me makes it easy for you to schedule available time, and then people can just go on and book that with you. So it's based on your preferences, your availability, rather than someone just stuffing stuff in your calendar. But this is much more public. You can publish this. So it's going to just be enabled by default early to late May 2023. But if you look at the blog post, you can see a link and you'll be able to access that straight away. Okay, sticking with Outlook, want to watch the new Windows preview, so look out for a slider at the top that will give you the new version of Outlook for you to have a look at. Delayed is Outlook on the web, the new location for the message components options. I've been talking about this for ages. When you create a new message, the stuff across the bottom is going to go up to the top, but that's just been pushed back a little bit. And changes to navigation for iOS. Hop over to the blog. Honestly, folks, I don't know the first thing about Apple products, but I have written that up for you. Okay, let's have a look at SharePoint. Okay, so new templates. So these new communication site templates, organizational home. It can serve as the homepage for your organization. A place for your branding. I always seem to struggle with this when I'm supposed to use I don't know, a certain font or a certain slide deck. I can never find it. This would be great, this Brand Central. And we've also got here an accounts payable template, team site template. Now these are due in the next couple of weeks, so these are due mid-April this year. Okay, sticking with SharePoint, improvements to the SharePoint page authoring experience. Now, there's been a little bit of this recently, hasn't there, where we've seen some improvements coming. First one is adding a new section. You just see how it used to be over on the left-hand side, didn't it? And it's just, for some reason, your eye isn't drawn there, and you have to explicitly point it out to people. But I think that's much nicer. Surfacing the layout options in the web part toolbars. I can't be honest, I'm not really sure what that one is. You're going to have to go and check it out yourself. I had a look and I'm not sure what it is. Consolidated and enhanced image web part toolbar. This looks better, doesn't it? So this the toolbar for images, it's just nice and compact, and it's just everything's just in a couple of clicks and right where you're looking. So that's quite good. I think the best one here is the text overlay ability. Just have a little zoom in down here. At the top, you can see the toolbar at the top, and it's nice and easy to get to. And here we've got the text overlay, and there's lots of choice there. You can really customize that, so that looks great. Due late March, all the way until late June. That's really big. It's like so. All of April, all of May, all of June. So that's been spread over a 3-month period. So quite a long tail on that one, but is probably worth waiting for. Some quick updates, new list templates with approvals. So that's already in, actually. I've already seen that. So when maybe am I seeing? Why am I seeing that? I'm sure that I've seen that. I'm sure that I saw that yesterday or a couple of days ago. Go and check it yourself in case I'm going mad. But that looks like that would be quite useful. Get the video feed out of the way. Renaming the file view web part. So this is just a quick change. So the file view web part is getting changed to file and media, simply to indicate that it can do more than just static files. So it can do video as well. Not a lot more to say about that. Updated the rules email notification for lists and libraries. Okay, so I think I told you last month about when you have the email that comes to update about changes. It used to come from SharePoint, and now it's going to come from the last person that updated the rule or the person who created it. Now, Microsoft have had some negative feedback about that, and they've said that they're going to look at it, they're going to take on board that feedback, and then come back and tell us what they're doing. Now, I don't know if they're going to roll it back or they're going to have a different solution, but yeah, that's a little bit up in the air. So if you like that change, just hang on and see what happens with that one. Okay, so big news in Teams. So you may have noticed that Teams version 2 or new Teams has hit the headlines, the tech headlines in the last 3 days or so, from when I'm recording this, obviously. So late March. It's said to be faster, simpler, and more flexible. Faster and simpler. I've used it, and it is super quick. Just works really nicely. Feels more logical. Okay, so I've been training people on Teams now for just over 5 years, and forever people have just said it feels clunky, just doesn't feel right. I can't put my finger on this, but it just feels more right. And I know that's a rubbish thing to say, but you'll see. So it's a work in progress, this preview version. Your organization might not let you have it yet, but if you do, you'll see a little slider, and I'll show you that in a minute. So what's available? So there's a lot of things that are available, and there's a lot of things that aren't. Sorry if you're a Mac user. Some of the special clouds aren't available, but there's definitely enough for you to get on with and have a play. Early highlights: being signed into multiple tenants simultaneously, and then in the top right hand corner, it will show you notifications, or there's a little bell that shows you notifications from all of the tenants that you're in, regardless of which one you're currently in. So you're in a tenant, but it will go off and get you notifications and alerts from the other ones. New channel posts appear at the top of a thread. So for as long as I've been involved with Teams, people have said, why is the new stuff at the bottom? Well, it's getting flipped around, it's going to the top. Feels a bit weird, if I'm honest, initially. It's that I know I've just said it feels more right. So this is where, in my head, where it belongs, but I've been using Teams for so long, it's going to take me a little while to get used to it. But I do think it's the right thing to do. And this last one looks like a small one, unless this is something that bugs you. When people add a post in a channel, they have to open the editing options to be able to add a subject. So they click on the little A sign. Whereas now it's shown by default. So hopefully people will add a subject. I would like that to be mandatory, but hopefully that add a subject being shown by default in the new version of Teams, I think is going to really help. Lots more on the blog post now. Over on the blog post, you can see here, I've just kind of like whizzing through it. I've got a timeline, some of the highlights for the new version of Teams, some screenshots, some videos from Microsoft when things have happened. In fact, I've added more since I took that screenshot. So hop over there and have a good read, watch those videos. Now, it's available now in preview. So if you've got this available to you, in the top left-hand corner in Teams, you'll see this little slider. It will give you it talks you through the first couple of steps and what it's doing, but then you can just flick back and forth real quick. So I think I can see no risk to you using that. But go and check that out if it's available to you, and if it's not, go and speak to your IT people and ask them to turn it on for you so you can have a little play. I think it's definitely worth you getting ahead. Okay, so Teams 2 it's off to a great start. Teams 2. It seems to have hit the road running, and it's a lot better than it might have been for a preview. Well, my video's gone again. I don't have time to sort that out, folks, I'm afraid. So you're going to have to just put up with my kind of jerky max headroom head. Okay, avatars in Microsoft Teams meetings. Don't be put off by this. My initial thought was, sounds rubbish. I've heard loads of people on podcasts rubbish it. I had a good play of it yesterday. I'm converted just like that. I really like it. So you can customize your avatars and your reactions. So if you go in now, just a quick word on this. Actually, I'm running this team setup in preview. So you can see I've got EA early access. So for that, click on the three little dots. Or was clicking on the three little dots on my photo? I can't recall off the top of my head. I might have to go and read my own blog to remind myself which of those I click on. Maybe it's the photo. Anyway, I've done that, and I've gone over into preview, and I've now got access to avatars. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about preview, then go and look it up on my blog, and it talks you through what it is and how you get it. Okay, so customizable meeting avatars and reactions. So you choose your reactions as well. You can choose up to 3. So I think Microsoft say one for like serious work, one for casual work, one maybe for a bit much more light-hearted stuff. So I really like this because some people just don't like coming on camera, and it doesn't matter what you say to them, they're not going to magically like doing it. Okay, maybe there's lots of reasons why you wouldn't want to, aren't there? So, but they want better representation than that little tiny photo that's up in the corner. Now, if you have a look at some of the options down here, you can see that there's lots of inclusivity there. There's so many options you can choose from. If I just quickly move on to this, you can see here you can choose your body shape, prosthetics, skin tone, face, hair, appearance. Now I'm talking about you can choose eye styles, for example. But then the options are. Honestly, it looked to me like they were endless. Okay, so here's my best go at representing myself. Got to work on the face a little bit. I need to age myself a little bit, maybe. Let me just give you another quick look on there. You can see I'm working on it. Let's go back to that now. Okay, so yeah, I'm getting there. Anyway, I really like it, and I think it's going to make meetings more inclusive, and hopefully you'll get it, and you'll think so as well. So in preview now, but generally available to people in May. So let's see. I'm really looking forward to seeing how people get on with that. Okay, green screen feature for Teams meetings. Now, one of the reasons I like this is because my hair, for some reason, doesn't get on with Microsoft Teams, and it kind of cuts bits of my head off. I look like an egg, right? A boiled egg that's had its top cut off. And I just had some eyes drawn on this egghead, because it just cuts this off, and I much prefer not using the virtual backgrounds or the blur, because it just can't get on with my grey hair and my hairstyle. But apparently, if you use a green screen, I've got a green screen I can just pop up behind me, it makes the processing so much easier. It does such a better job of getting rid of that behind. Also, it means I could hold something up with my hand, so like a phone, for example, or whatever it might be, and it will show it, because it's much easier for it to work out what's you and what's that green screen behind you. It doesn't need to be green, by the way. It can be other colours. Now, currently only works on machines with Intel processors, so hopefully AMD will get included as well. Yep, any colour screen, you can choose screen, you get it set up. That is due mid to late April, so be interesting. I've already heard of people who are looking forward to being able to use that, and it might be that you don't want to invest in a green screen. Maybe just you got like a lot of meeting pods at work. You just paint the back wall green in all of them. You find out what the best colour match is, and just paint that wall green, so people have a much nicer meeting experience. Okay, moving on. A new Files app is coming to Microsoft Teams. So I've got the old one at the top. Now this has hardly changed in 5 years. This is somehow, either it's been neglected or whoever started it did a really good job. Okay, so what we've got? So we've got the original one at the top, and let's just move that along. And we can see here that we've got, I'm clicking too quickly today, we've got Home, which shows like recent. Let's just click on that again. So we've got home, which shows all your recent files. We've got my files, which shows my OneDrive. We've got shared, so things that have been shared with me from anywhere. That's for me. That's the new big addition, shared. That looks really good, and downloads hasn't changed. The reason that I was just kind of tripping over myself a little bit there is I don't know why. If I'm honest, home wasn't just left as recent because that's what those files do. I don't know why. OneDrive. I don't know why my files wasn't left as OneDrive because that's what it is. And they just added shared. I'm sure they've got to make changes. If you want just a recap of what I've just said, hop over to the blog, and I've got the new name and what it is and what the old one is, so you can go and check that out if you want to. So I really like the shared. Some of the changes there I'm not really sure about, but that is due early to mid-April, so just in the next couple of weeks. Okay, people insights are being added to Teams profile cards. So you might find this over in Outlook now. As you can see, actually this screenshot is from Outlook because I'm expecting it to be the same. I couldn't get a Teams version. So it's just that expanded profile card in Teams that tells you a little bit more about people. Hopefully it'll make it easier to connect because we spend so much time apart now, don't we? And there's people, you've got colleagues who you might never have met. So that's just a nice way to just kind of connect a little bit more. Okay, due early to late March, and actually, you know what, I think that's been pushed back a little bit. If that's of interest to you, go and double check. But I think actually I remember that's been pushed back. Explicit recording consent for Microsoft Teams meetings. So off by default, but your organisation might turn it on. And let's just zoom into here. We can see that anyone who doesn't consent has their recording equipment, so their camera and their mic turned off. So you can still be part of the meeting if you want to, but you just can't take part if you don't agree to the record. Now, I quite like that because I've heard a lot of meetings saying, at the start of meetings, people say, we're going to record this. If you're not okay with that, then feel free to drop off. Whereas actually, this creates like a good in-between place, doesn't it? You don't want to be recorded, but you still want to attend the meeting. So that's quite good. Due late March to late April. Okay, so just going to say that there are loads of other minor Teams updates over on the blog. I'm not going to go through all of them because there's so many. Do you know what? I'm going to show you now, actually. Let me just pull this over for you. Just pop this up on the screen. Let's go down to Teams, and you can see that there's plenty of content in here. I explain a little bit about what that EA is and how you get the early access in Teams. Let's just go down a little bit more, and there's loads down here, loads of delayed updates, ones to watch, which are coming in the near future. So if you're really interested, hop over there, and it keeps going. Lots and lots of stuff for you to go and read. All right, let's get back to around Microsoft 365, new My Groups experience. So this is the type of page, and if you can't find this page on your setup, go to the blog, click on the link, and it will open up for you in your tenant. This sort of thing that I might add to a My Stuff channel. So I might have a channel that has tabs across the top that shows somebody all of their Excel documents they've ever opened, all of their OneNotes, their tasks in Planner, and now their groups as well. So it just makes it nice and easy for you to find out which groups you're in. So Microsoft 365 groups that are associated with SharePoint or Teams. So you get some filtering. You can see a membership. Optionally available now, so you can go and look at a new experience if you want to, or you can stick to the old one. But that new experience is due late May. Worth you having a look at that because that's one of those things that's really out of mind, but it's actually quite interesting. Okay, this is great. I've forever heard people say they want to save templates in Whiteboard, especially as Whiteboard is really matured. If you haven't checked out Whiteboard recently, go and have a look. It used to be like this scratch pad, didn't it? It was like Paint, where you could just do a few basic things. It's like a whole application that could change your way of working. I know people who use it every single morning for their meetings. And now you can save a template, and you could just save it and then just use it every time you start up a new project or a new phase or whatever. So it's super easy. You can see on the screen there, sort of basic controls. Go and check that out. It won't jump out at you. You need to go and look for it. But go and have a look, folks. That's available now, and I think is an absolutely brilliant addition to Whiteboard. Okie dokie. So that brings us to the end of these updates. I've tried to stick to the main updates because there's just so many this month that I went through every single delay. I think there were 50 last month in total over on the blog, and I think there's 60 now. Look at the state of my video. I'm not sure what's going on with that. So I think there's 60, and I just don't have time to go through them, and I'll lose you. You just won't stay for all of that. But folks, look at the comments section and then hop over and read the topics that jump out at you. Just choose Teams or SharePoint or whatever, go have a look. But for now, folks, we are done. I want to thank you for watching and for listening. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe over on YouTube so you get these updates. And hopefully you found it useful, and I'll catch you next month.